shit was reached. Mind and body weak, gone from the stress on the brain. Lost in the void of space, what does it really take to stay sane and maintain stability? Is this really me floating in the maze haze of what will I, could I, who should I be? Am I destined to weep and cry my life away for all the wrong mistakes I made and take the blame? Damn, this shit is so insane. Just wanna flow free like a river into the ocean, not headed what for the fucking drain. Life caught up in disarray, system malfunctioning, made days instead of paydays. Red light blinking, thinking where's the green? Hoping this is a dream, it only seems to be a nightmare. Scared, pure fear of the unknown. Where's here? Do you know what I mean? Journeys through the galaxies at light speed. Please just catch me.
Heart always crying, but my heart won't stay silent. Sky is the limit, but after that I'm not finished. Heart always crying, but my heart won't stay silent.
I'm ready for liftoff, like a hooper when it's tip off. Yeah, I'm ready to score, ready for war. Polishing, I sparkle like the son of Allah. Creating rain, hail, and earthquakes, the God in the flesh. And they say God makes no mistakes. From natural disaster to calm and laughter, I'm balancing the scales like a yin-yang master. Emotional intelligence is energy intelligence. The wise use the mind to align with the elements. Health is a benefit. Treat the body like a temple. They creating flow.
Heart always crying, but my heart won't stay silent. Sky is the limit, but after that I'm not finished. Heart always crying, but my heart won't stay silent. Sky is the limit, but after that I'm not finished. Heart always crying, but my heart won't stay silent. Sky is the limit, but after that I'm not finished. Heart always crying, but my heart won't stay silent. Sky is the limit, but after that I'm not finished.
Peace, power, and prosperity, everybody. I'm back. I'm not going to waste too much of your time. I got the dream team here with me. I'm going to bring them up. I have the lovely, immaculate Monique Ruffin in the building. What's up, Mo? What's up, Mo? One half of the Zodiac Dream Team. And I have also the illustrious, magnificent, and also, as both of them are, godly, beautiful, Divine Feminine Works. What's up, Mel?
What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Rob? Hello. Hello.
What's going on? How was your week? How was your, well, the last time we spoke was the full moon in Aquarius. How has it been? Well, let me start with myself on this one. Man, there's been a lot of challenges, a lot of things that have popped back up, old habits, kind of taking me off my, what I'd like to say, my marathon, so to speak, right? Where there was just like a kind of a shift in energy, a big shift in energy. It was like a big burst of transformation energy, then a big burst of like, oh, here's these challenges, right? You may not be energetic enough to go to the gym today. You may not be, you may wake up and it's just in time for work, so you can't get that meditation. And it's been like very draining time. What say you ladies? How do you guys feel about that? Or these last coming weeks? That's what's been going on with me.
I'll go. It has been challenging. I feel like I have been being dragged. And when you said old things popping back up, it's like what I feel like is I'm being invited to really clear up my patterns from my childhood and my family, the behaviors that created my life the way that it is, which has been a good life. You know what I mean? There've been a lot of challenges because that's what the earth experience is, but it's like I'm really being asked to get into the details and, like clean the corners of my consciousness, dust off the bottom shelf in my consciousness. And yeah, so old patterns, like I'm being asked to let go of relationship styles that just relationships where it's not equitable, where there's not affinity, you know what I mean? Where the energy doesn't flow around, right? So some relationships are one-sided, whatever they, you know what I mean? And no, I'm not trying to blame anything. I'm just saying, like, really understanding that it's important for me to start to really make myself first. And I see those behaviors and those belief systems that would have me collapse my energy into another, or pull back, or shame, things that I'm holding on to because of shame and comparison. It's like all that stuff has to go. So I've been doing a lot of work, like identifying patterns that are deeply rooted, that need to be removed. And yeah, so I'm with you. It's just mine. That's how mine is showing up, though.
Yeah. What's up with you, Mel?
So for me, it's been slightly different. I feel like it's been a really powerful time. I feel like I've spent the last couple of months sort of in hermit mode and isolation and really sort of dying. And I feel like now is resurrection time. And so I'm sort of being I almost feel like Harry Potter when he first went to Hogwarts and he first got his wand and he's trying to figure out his magic and how to really work it. And so I've been feeling very powerful. I've also been feeling very selfish. Like I feel like this North Node in Aries, like I have absolutely no concern for other people's shit. Like very much so. And not in an egotistical sort of way. It's been more of a, because I had put myself last so much, learning to put myself first, I feel like I'm the scale has tipped in the complete opposite direction. So it's been a couple of weeks of just understanding my power and stepping into it and living as this sort of new person. So it's been very eye-opening, very different kind of energy for me.
Interesting. That's dope. So Mel, I'm gonna keep it with you since I got this beautiful message from you about half hour ago about Venus Cassini, right? Venus Cassini, and we also have Venus in Leo. How do those things, Venus retrograde in Leo, which we discussed at length last week, so I don't want to go too deep into it. But how do those two things conjunct the Venus Cassini and Venus retrograde in Leo?
This is about really getting in touch with your heart space. It's about understanding what your true desires are. It's about giving yourself the love that you're ultimately seeking first and foremost. And then that is going to be reflected back to you in your relationships. But it's just a day to really love on yourself. It's just a very fortuitous, feel-good sort of day. It's a day to do heart healing work. It's a day to address your inner child. It's a day to really understand what is truly in your heart and having the courage to not only address it, but to live it, essentially.
And that is today, right? Okay. What is Venus Cassini? What is it though? What, like, because I've never even heard of it myself. So is it just it's a star? Is it
when the
rotation?
sun and Venus are conjunct is what it is. The sun and Venus are at the same degree. They're conjunct. So the sun is at the 20th degree of Leo and Venus is at the 20th degree of Leo. And this happens, once a year at least, right? Yeah, once a year, right?
Yeah.
They have it like, so when the sun crosses Saturn, when the sun crosses Mercury, it's always sort of like a energy, because the sun is our personality. It's how we express ourselves. And so when it transits a planet, when it conjuncts a planet, it's a time to, like you said, Mel, to really tap into the power, because it's going to influence your light codes, let's say it that way, because the sun is what creates all of this. So now the sun is dancing with Venus. So it's like your sensory system. That's what Venus rules. Venus governs your sense of sight, taste, hearing, feeling, your food, your money. Venus is all of that. So when Venus comes to the sun, it's an opportunity to do a ritual to bring, it's like putting gasoline in your car for these particular things, right? So this is a time to bring energy to this area of our lives. And if you can do a ritual or make some sort of intention, then it it boosts the energy.
I
So
love that
I,
explanation, Mo, of
Mm.
the
yeah,
gasoline. Like that's so perfect because especially because the sun energizes things. So it's literally like wherever you want to go, this is the day that you get your tank gets filled up, right? And so now you have all this energy to get the things that you want or to live the life that you want to live. Like it's just a very like fortunate day.
Yes.
so definitely it would be like a good day for like mirror affirmation work, uh, things like that.
Yeah.
Getting out in the sun, maybe getting out in some nature.
Yeah.
And I would say being Venus deals with like a lot of comfort, like just being comfortable, kind of relaxing into it, breath work, things like that will be
Mhm.
optimal. Scripting, script writing, yeah. Like
Mm.
Junkyard Jedi, he dropped a good comment. Good day to love up on yourself, on your love up on your loved ones or yourself. Yeah, I think that's
Mhm.
apropos
Mhm.
for
Hmm.
what you said. Okay, we have learned today. We have learned today, as we always do every time we get together. All right.
Mhm.
What I want to talk about is there's a lot going on in the world in particular, right? And the month of
Always.
August is very interesting. I was looking at this. I'm going to pull this up real quick. I was looking at this Black August, all right? How all these different events, oh, y'all can't see it. Okay, there it is. All these different events that have popped up August 69, where, you know, the captives or the prisoners of war came to the 13 colonies, the beginning of the Haitian Revolution, 1804, Gabriel Prosser discovered, all right, a revolutionary, Nat Turner rebellion. Everybody should know who Nat Turner is at this point. Underground Railroad, the birth of Marcus Garvey, Russell Maroon Schultz, Fred Hampton, Matulu Shakur, the March on Washington, the Watts Rebellion. This is also, it's not on this, but Denmark Vesey, also his rebellion against his slave captures or slave masters, as they say. The FBI circulated order to disrupt black liberation groups, also known as COINTELPRO. Courthouse Rebellion, not familiar with that really. Assassination of George Jackson has a good book called Blood in My Eye. Police Raid on Move. That's an organization in Philadelphia. They actually bombed. First
I
time they
remember
dropped a
that.
bomb on American citizens. Well,
I remember
besides
that.
Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yep,
Mhm.
but yeah, Move organization. Mumia Abu Jamal, whose next his execution was stopped by resistance, and we all know the Alabama Riverboat Brawl. All right. So where the cheers was flying, the people were not having it. All right. What do you guys think about August? What's so magical about August? And Black August in particular? Is it just the Leo energy going into that Virgo type of energy that, you know, get the job done, that work type energy? Virgo, I work, the Leo, I will. Is it that combination that's so special about this month? What any insights you guys have astrologically?
I think it's definitely sun in Leo. When the sun is in its home sign, it just energizes everything. That's why shit is so hot. Like the temperature is hot, people's tempers are hot. Everyone's
Mhm.
like agitated, ready to pop off. Like it's that heat, it's that energy, it's the sun returning home. So I definitely think that would play a part in it.
Mm. And also, Cancer season is in August too, right? Can
July.
but when does
Cancer?
it?
No,
Yeah, Cancer season starts. It starts in July.
July.
Okay. So it's. I was just trying to. Well, I don't even know which connection I was attempting to make, but oh, soldiers, right? Um, like it's soldier season. It's the season of the soldier, and that is soldier season is Cancer and Leo. Um, and Leo is also like leader energy, the archetype. So this the Haru energy is really strong during Leo season, that Christ consciousness. So the light brings in awakenings. It wakes people up. It enlightens people. So people have power to um to execute that that Haru energy. It's I find it really interesting. I didn't know all of this though. This is fascinating to me.
Yeah,
I
me
could
neither.
really like now I'm like, dang, I want to pull up my my stuff and look at the transits and what was going on because this is very interesting.
It is. I knew about the Haitian Revolution, obviously, because I'm Haitian, but everything else I wasn't aware of.
Wow. Are you Haitian? I did
Mhm.
not know that.
Yeah, I am.
That's great.
Yeah. And what's interesting is that so the beginning of the Haitian Revolution started on August 21st, but on August 14th is when they did the ritual work to usher in the energy of the revolution. It's called Boakaima. And that's when they slaughtered pigs and when they did all of their ritual work on August 14th. So it's a very
Yes.
heavy energetic time of
Wow.
revolution.
That is really fun. I love that you're Haitian because now I have I have a number of clients who are Haitian. Rob is gone. I have a number of clients who are Haitian, and I'm just so aware of how powerful people from that part of the world are. And it's yeah, that's really dope. Like I'm super excited. Like oh man, okay. Like thank you. Like that's great. Okay, since Rob is not here, let's talk about we're still navigating. Um, Yesterday we had a transit. We had Mars. It's still going on today. Mars in conjunct with Chiron,
Okay.
and so
That explains a lot.
yes, and so we've been inviting. We're exactly. It explains a lot. So tell me what. Like, why did you say that? Why did?
In conjunct energy always feels so jarring, I guess you could say. It
Yeah.
feels very like it always requires adjustment.
Mhm.
And that energy of Mars currently in Virgo. So that's very like get to work. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to have, being focused and organized.
Yes.
And what is the Chiron? So Chiron is currently in Aries, right?
In
And it's
Aries, that's right.
retrograde. So feeling sort of uncomfortable with ourselves. It's like wanting to go forward, but also feeling like, I don't know, or dealing with sort of the heavy trauma, the heavy emotions, or maybe even feeling lethargic too. I know yesterday I was feeling extremely like lazy, lethargic. I had so much on my to-do list that I wanted to do, but I just didn't have the energy to do it. So that's why I said it explains a lot. Cause I was like, I woke up like, yes, I'm gonna do this, that, and the third. And then I was like, in bed all day. I was like, yeah, this is really not happening today. So
Yeah.
it
The
explains
thing
a lot.
is, I appreciate that because one of the things that's been so interesting for me all summer, my spirit guides have been like, rest, rest. Don't overexert yourself. Literally, like you have Mars in Virgo. Rob, we just started going on without you. We're talking.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you. I don't know what happened.
We're talking about the in conjunct of Mars to Chiron that got activated yesterday.
Okay.
So Mars is in Virgo and Chiron is in Aries. And Chiron always brings up wounds. It brings up uncomfortable patterns that need to be. So Mars in an in conjunct with Chiron says you have to give up something, and it's uncomfortable. It's emotionally painful. And because it's something around your identity, because it's Aries and Virgo is in the details. So it's really like the thing that I'm being asked to do, which is profound, but also like excruciating, is I'm being asked to really understand that my internal world is generating my external world. Like in the details of that, like really get it, that your eyes are projecting something that is coming from within you. Like step into that, like own it. And I find myself being like, I'm confused. What do you mean? Like, even though I get it conceptually, the thing that what happens is I'm experiencing, like my intention is to create one thing and then something else gets created. And I'm like, what the fuck? What is that? And Spirit's like, you're misaligned. My cat is doing some really silly shit. So, so because I feel misaligned,
Leo season. Yeah, big cat.
Okay.
Discern
So
the authority.
it's right. So it's a real, and that's a part of it. It's like the universe is asking, trust, like let your cats out and trust that they are cared for and safe. Trust that they have intelligence and wisdom. And so I've been letting them out for like 2 hours or so and just allowing it to be. And like the anxiety, I have one friend who's like, you couldn't let these cats out. They're too pretty. Somebody's going to steal them. And people are so great in my neighborhood. Nobody's doing anything. Right. But I have to change my mindset. I have to change the things I believe. I have to really anchor into the belief that I'm safe, that I'm doing better and better and better at my spiritual practices and my spiritual wisdom, like really to recode the external reality. So I'm in the details. I'm in the lab. Let's say it that way. I'm in the lab.
Yeah.
That Mars in Virgo is definitely trying to make it real. Like, yeah, it's like, no, this is happening now. It's happening now. It's like whether you want it to or not, it's happening now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I've sort of been feeling the same thing. Like a lot of I feel like I've been doing a lot of the work, internally and, theoretically, but now I feel like Mars and Virgo is like, yeah, it's go time now. Like shit is happening now. I'm starting to see things unfold. And like I said, I feel like Harry Potter with my wand. Like I'm really trying to make shit happen. But sometimes, like you said, like other shit be happening too. And I'm like, whoa, I didn't want that or necessarily intend for that. But that sort of comes with the whole thing. So yeah, I definitely get it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Gotta get on your gotta get on your magic, right?
Yeah.
Now is really the time, like I was telling somebody I was doing did a good amount of readings this week, to be honest. And I was like, but the same theme came up, and it's really like thoughts, what you're thinking. Like really your ideation, kind of like a Mercury through line, and it was very much like you said, like see your reality for what you want it to be. Like don't limit yourself by this external world. Like don't be moved, so to speak, by this external world. Don't let this external world change whatever your vision is or whatever your idea is of your ideal self or your most high self. See yourself in that light. Like see yourself as the son of man, right? Or the son of woman, however, gender you want to go with, but see yourself as that light and shine that light on the world. But first shine that light in your mind. Like make sure your vision is associated with that. I was trying to go to Instagram, but last time I did that, you saw what happened. So I have this. Well, can y'all see it? Well, it says, no, y'all can't see it. But I put this on my Instagram yesterday. It said, the eye of the master will do more work than both his hands. I got that out of a fortune cookie yesterday. And it was like, the eye of the master will do more work than both of his hands. So, like, I had to stop and think because it was just an interesting fortune cookie to get. But it just shows the importance really of staying rooted and having a vision, right? No matter what happens, no matter how you're misaligned. And that really goes back to your childlike imagination, like you were saying, Mo, being in that heart space, like that Christ consciousness is really about a childlike consciousness. And it's really about tapping into your imaginative abilities and being able to feel that energy resonating off of you, whether it's in meditation, whether it's in your daydreams, whether it's in your night dreams, right? Just going about your day, walking in that particular energy, no matter what's happening in the external realm, because eventually the universe will catch up with your magnetic energy and what you're resonating with. But you have to continue to put forth that energy. There's a science of the Kemetic tree of life, Geb, that would be Malkuth on the Kabbalah, the Hebrew Kabbalah, and it's all about earth, earth and earth-like powers, like your earth-like energy, the type of energy. So it deals with health, it deals with money and resources. But really, are you conjuring the energy, or are you just waiting for shit to happen? Do you think shit is just going to fall out the sides? Do you think the aliens are going to give it to you? Do you think a government leader is going to give it to you? Do you think a new spiritual leader, if you have a different president, different congressman? All that shit is external shit. And we've been conditioned through the years to think via Jesus, via Muhammad, via these Abrahamic religions that someone else is going to save us. And that's never going to be the case. You'll be waiting forever, and you'll be on your deathbed with years of regrets, waiting for someone to come and save you. When you could hold that same vision, channel that same sunlight within yourself, and power yourself to reach what you need to grow and develop.
Yes.
So yeah, that's it. That's my piece.
All right. Yeah.
So you guys see what's going on in Africa, right? In Niger, and yeah, I definitely have something else on Instagram I want to drop, but no, we'll just talk about it. Niger and Instagram, and Niger and Africa, and what's happening. What do you guys think as far as the tied into the Black August? Because hip hop is also a Leo, you know. Where I was thinking about that yesterday when I was at a hip hop event, it's also a Leo, right? So it's also braggadocious, bold, in your face, dynamic, and doesn't give a fuck about anybody's opinions. And that's what's happening in Africa. Do you guys see the through line astrologically with what's happening in Africa, and with them uprising and wanting to, you know, release the shackles of Western imperialism?
You know what? I'm just so in awe. I am in awe of what's happening. And there are also moments when I'm afraid of what's happening. Where I feel like, what is this going to mean? And Spirit always says to me, it means do your work and do your rituals so that you can stand in your own in integrity, in your own energy. But it's the last degree of Pluto in Capricorn. I mean, the last hurrah with Pluto in Capricorn. Pluto in Capricorn. Capricorn is external authority, government, systems, and this what did you call it? Capitalism, Western regime,
imperialism, Western imperialism, yeah. Fascism.
Yes,
all the badisms.
Like it's coming to an end, and it's coming to an end. But ending is a process. Ending doesn't happen like in just one swoop. It is a process. So okay, now they're saying, and I love this. They're like declaring their independence, but then they have to learn how to do things in a different way. You know what I mean? And they still are a part of the world. So this, you know what I mean? They're still a part of the world collective experience. So the power arms are changing, but we're still all here, and we still all need resources. And so how's that gonna work out? You know?
Yeah.
That is
what you think, Mel?
Just I agree with Mo's sentiment, and you bring up a very important point, like that Pluto change. Like Pluto is transformation, Pluto is death, but I think a lot of times our connotation of death is like boom, like it just happens. Pluto is a slow fucking death, like it is the slowest. So something that you think is gonna, like, we've been dismantling the patriarchy for like 20 fucking years, whether you believe it or not. Like it's not something that just happened in 2020. Like it's a slow death, but it's death and rebirth in the same moment. So that's why, to piggyback off what Mo was saying, yes, they're declaring their independence, but yeah, they also have to learn how to be independent. And that's what's going on with everything. Like everything is a microcosm for everything else. So everything that we're seeing externally is what's going on within us as well. So if you've been doing that work, it does feel very dualistic in the sense that, you know, the old you was dying, but the new you was being reborn. So we have this energy of transformation, transition that we're in, like we're sort of in this sort of transformation, transition energy, and we're going to be in it for quite some time. So we're going to be seeing this energy playing out, not just in this one country, but clearly as soon as Prince Charles became King Charles, like so many countries have decided to declare their independence from the British Empire, right? This is all Pluto and Capricorn going into Aquarius. We're seeing it happen in front of our eyes. And so this is just more of the same. And there's going to be more of it to come, I believe.
Yeah, his coronation was very like janky with him tipping over and, you know,
janky.
like them struggling to even like, I think they were like holding the crown and one of the guys was falling over. Like it's really like it wasn't like the same posterity and the same imagery as the so-called crown has had of old. So there's definitely a lot of changes that's happening. And once you see signs and symbols like that, like those are really signs and symbols, right? Of
Yeah.
what's really happening, like you said, as above, so below. So it's really a sign and symbol of what's happening with the world, and kind of a precursor, like you were saying, Mel, about what's happening today and what's happening now in these countries where even earlier with France, Paris, and them, just rising up and deciding they're not going to take it. People all over the world are waking up. I was even thinking about like the Travis Scott thing in the pyramids and how they had that shut down like 5-10 years ago because of Travis Scott being tied to a mega organization, and Live Nation and things like that, Rock Nation, all these big companies. That still would have went on, like no matter what the people said, no matter what the people's opinion was of it. But now you're hearing the comic folk talk about ritual and demonic energy and things like that, and it's a very interesting time of people awakening to their own individual power. And it also goes back, like I was saying earlier, to hip hop being a Leo, right? Hip hop in its 50th anniversary, and how there's all these celebrations, but we also just had a Lionsgate on the 8th, and that's kind of what set everything off. So it's like our energy has been, even in hip hop, been incorporated, right? And we haven't controlled hip hop music for the most part. So even that needs an uprising, and how hip hop is not selling the way it was because of the quality of it nowadays. So even that is going to be going through a revolution. I would say this year and probably next year, you'll see some new artists that will emerge that will be more socially conscious, but still have that pop aspect to them, like a Lauryn Hill or something like that, where they will capture the masses. And I think that's up next because it needs to happen, and it needs to really change. All these things really need to change. And like you said, new systems, new governments. So those of you who have your gifts, right, it's time to tap into them. We need accountants, we need new congressmen, new lawyers, new politicians, whatever that looks like, whether it's communalism, new people to set up new systems, new ideas, and things like that. So tapping into that heart space will tap you into your purpose. And your purpose shit could be just the person that does the lawn, right? That's important, and plants the flowers, so that has the right type of aromatherapy, so that you could channel the energy of certain spirits in that particular new type of, quote, the black house, right? Whatever you want to call it, right? But all these things are valuable, new shoemakers, right? Whatever your purpose is and the things that you love to do, and you would do it without money, you do it as a hobby. Mechanics, right? New car makers, all these things are needed. And these are the things we should be focusing in on and seeing, where are we holding ourselves back? Are we letting family, friends, associates, fear of being ridiculed, fear of someone judging you, fear on all these things, as I know you guys as being, all of us that grow into our spirituality, that's the first challenge, is getting rid of feeling judgment or shame from friends, family, even loved ones and things like that, and moving in your own direction. And, taking a leap of faith, even to start like a YouTube channel or do these things on Instagram and Facebook and all these. It's like you have to be comfortable and confident in your mission in order to continue going. So it's really about stepping to that arena and that heart space.
Oh, that's true.
Go ahead, Mark. What you're going to add on?
I just was like, that's true. Like, it's that heart space piece it's such a, I mean, I'm a super Virgo. Like, I feel like Mel is also very super Virgo, and I have Sun, I have the Sun, Pluto, Jupiter, and Uranus all in Virgo in the 6th house. And the details of this, what I've become very aware of, is that we have to actually do the intimate work. It's, like, you can't just be like, oh, I'm done with that. It doesn't work that way because the behaviors and the beliefs are entrenched. And if you can imagine a human brain in your mind, those grooves in the brain, those grooves are like pathways that are built because of our thought patterns and how we think, that then sends signals to our body and muscles that then informs how we move, right? And so, like, say for instance, if you grew up in a house where you were walking on eggshells, that tension gets coded in your brain and then codes the way you move through the world. You move through the world on eggshells, whether you know it or not. It just becomes the way of it. And so maybe that started when you were 3, but by the time you're 35, that just is normal to you. It doesn't even, and you will continue to find yourself in relationships where you're like, I don't feel comfortable, but you don't recognize it. It's coming from that early childhood pattern of having somebody in your environment that had you walk on eggshells. So it codes a frequency in your brain, in your system, right? So the work of changing that, that's what I'm talking about. The work of transforming that, because it really is a code. And everything here is zeros and ones. And so you really do get to recode yourself. And it's no joke, you guys. It really is like counting kernels of sand, grains of sand. It's like counting grains of sand.
I'm laughing because it is like it's
It
like,
is.
and I think like because like you, I'm a Virgo also, and it's that daily work that people tend to gloss over, that they tend to, you're not going to see it on Instagram, you're not going to see it on YouTube. They want to show you the nice aesthetic, they want to show you the manifestation. No, it's the daily task of, oh, this is how I used to think. No, that's not it anymore. Now it's this. Being able to literally in the moment recognize first where that the old story, what it is and where it's coming from, and then consciously making the decision and being intentional to be like, no, not this anymore, this is what we're doing, and then doing that 100 times a day for like 100 days. That's really what it is.
Yes, that is absolutely right. And
That's one point.
we're
Yeah.
all saying the same thing. And I just I just need for us all to say the same thing, because I think that people don't understand what spiritual work really is. And I mean, it's burning candles and incense, it's doing all that stuff. But in the details of it, it is like, oh, I'm still thinking I'm ugly because I heard my mother when I was 4 years old say a little girl was pretty who was light skinned with long hair. And I compared myself to her. And I'm still walking around here like I'm not an attractive woman. And I'm 50 years old. You know what I mean? Like, it's that. Like, and how many times you interact with that. And so that's all. I'm done. I ain't got nothing else to say.
Yeah,
That's what
like
I
hearing you say that again, it brought me back, and I don't know, maybe because I was at an event yesterday, but it still bring me back to hip hop. Like how hip hop has positive, but it has a shit ton of negative messaging, right? Let's keep it real,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
A lot of hip hop has led people to the grave, to prison, to break up their relationships, to cheat. Tons of to do hella drugs, right? There's tons of negative messaging in hip hop, but it's repetitious, right? It's
That's
very
right.
much in the scheme of a ritual or a rite, right? It's
That's
something
right.
that is repetitious. The same way they serve you ads and marketing is repetition, and it's casting a spell on you so you don't think the way you want to think, but you think how the programmer, the rapper, the marketer, the advertiser, right, is boasting and bragging about something, but it's still a way to shine their light on your light.
Yes.
So
That's
they're
right.
literally casting their shadow on you
Yes.
with these messages. So by reversing that process, being an alchemist, now you're now taking your life in your own hands, and you're instead of falling victim to outside messaging, because that's what a lot of even the news, like people who watch the news in the morning, Mike, those are usually like the most fearful people. I try not
Mhm.
to judge people for what they do, but I would strongly suggest during this Leo season you stop watching the news, especially first thing in the morning, right? That's
Yeah.
one of the worst things. You're conditioning your day to in fear, literally. Like you're conditioning your day to be in fear or to be fearful, right?
Mhm.
I like to read the news, but that's me. I'd rather read it because I could choose to not see the news story of what happened to me, what happened on 2 blocks away, and the worst thing that happened in my neighborhood. So we really want to have these rituals in place so that we could reprogram ourselves and recondition. And that's what really the candle, like burn a candle for yourself, burn candles to your chakras, burn
Mhm.
candles to your spirit, right? So that you could break bad habits. So you could take care, like Mo was saying, some of that childhood conditioning and programming from when your mom said you're good for nothing. Like these are things I heard from my own mother. You know what I'm saying? You're good for nothing. You're gonna grow up to be this. And some of it was a fucking self-fulfilling prophecy
Mhm.
until I regained a hold of my own life. Until I was able
Mhm.
to say, no, I'm not gonna follow this pattern. No, I don't have to go to college to do these steps to be successful that you did because you're fearful and you think that this is the only way life could go. No, I could be successful doing something else in my own way, in my own pattern. But you have to go through the repetitious work of breaking those trauma bonds. This is why Sunday in church doesn't work. It's not enough to
Right.
just go 1 day a week for an hour or 2 hours of service and pray and hallelujah to someone else, for someone else to save you, right?
Yeah.
I'm not, if you're a Christian, that's where you got to be. I try not to knock people because there's good people in all walks of life. But
Yeah.
remember, if you're putting your life in someone else's hands, that person's hands could use you as a puppet.
Yes.
Mm, very true.
Yeah.
They definitely. So let's go into. So we talked about Africa. There was something else I want to talk about. Oh, let's talk about this. We never talked about this. What do y'all think about the Montgomery brawl, man? You guys' opinion. This happened after we did our video.
Mm.
There's a lot going on with that. Definitely Leo motion in effect, right? And to me, it reminds me of like the solar flares, like all these solar flares. We've had this record in July, and I
Yeah.
feel like I know it's a byproduct of that for it to go viral internationally. You
Yeah.
know, internationally. Like I had somebody call me from fucking Antigua, like, yo, this. I'm like, what? Yeah, it's international that this type of event is going on. So talk to me about what's your guys' opinion, how you guys feel, and how that ties into or anything you guys see, just your general opinions, whether it's astrologically or not.
I'll go now. Okay. So I just love Black people. I just love us so much. Like I just am like, really, y'all, we are so hilarious. Like it's just, so like the guy comes and hits him and he throws his hat up in the air.
And he was, but the way that he did it, it was just
The way that
like,
he
it
did it,
really was like a bad signal.
I
I'm
mean,
like, oh, shit.
we're
that
so
is just
theatrical, right?
it was so like we are so dramatic. That's it. That's Leo. It was
Yes.
so dramatic, right? The person who jumped out of the boat to swim across to help. Like, really? Like, I just cannot because first of all, him swimming across just killed all the stereotypes that Black people don't swim. That's over with. No one can ever again say that Black people don't swim. Black people now swim. We are swimming again.
Shout out to Aquaman. That's what they doing,
Yeah.
Aquaman.
Oh my god, it was so funny. I just had it was very entertaining to me, right? But I was also aware of like this is a change happening. The way that it like the fact that the police didn't come and nobody got killed or like that was the energy was I kept hearing myself say, we are going to heal this current system by laughing and playing
Mhm.
and making light of this stuff. We are going to just walk ourselves out of this old reality like it didn't even exist by just floating out of it. You know what I mean? I don't want to, I mean, maybe that's not the entire truth, but that's a part of it. That is a part of how we will free ourselves by allowing ourselves to laugh at this. And it's one of the things that I remind myself of every day is that one day none of this is going to exist. Like one day the earth won't exist. One day, like none of this is being, like there were people here 300 years ago that we don't know their names. No one is calling it what, and they were probably trying to figure out how they were going to live or how they're going to be healthy, and we don't know them, right? So what that I remind myself of that so that I can lighten up. Like none of this is really that serious. One day, your body, your soul is eternal. Your soul nothing can happen to your soul. This body is not eternal, but your soul is. So just pay attention and take all the information so that when you drop this body, you have had all the experiences that God wants to experience as you. Because we're gonna change all this shit. One day racism is gonna be like a joke.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
It's
starting
gonna
to
be painful to even think that way.
Yes.
It's gonna be shunned upon.
That's right. Right.
Because I even see white people like really being like, yeah, it's Black people time now. Like you need to sit down and shut up because yeah, and it was glorious to me, to be honest. It was absolutely glorious. Like just the whole thing. But like Mo said, it is evidence of the change. It's the changing of the guard. Like the way that went down, the fact that people aren't like, oh my gosh, these people are animals, or look at what everyone's just like, yo, like, wow, okay, this is what time it is. Like, I feel like now everyone's like aware of where we are right now. And and I know you saw that post on Instagram that those ladies, they did a ritual there, right?
Yeah.
It was either that day or before, and it was the fact that we didn't know that. And then everyone was talking about how it was the ancestors that came up. Like, that everything is just in sync. When I saw a picture of Harriet Tubman with the chair, I said, you know what?
Yeah, they got the Martin Luther King statue with the chair too. When they watched it, they got him holding the chair. That's just hilarious.
It's like Harriet Tubman came back and said, "Not today, bitch."
Not
and
today.
It's like, yes, it's
and
like
that's her energy.
Yes,
that's
like,
right.
That was her energy, according to the narrative. Like, resisting slavery and setting people free. Like, it was just so appropriate, right? Even the chair being designed by a Black man. And seeing Black men ride for other Black men, there was when I looked at all the angles, there was a lot of people up top when the white guy was jumping, and that didn't do anything. They were just watching, and one Black man decided to come down, but simultaneously the guy was swimming in the river. Aquaman was swimming in the river to help his co-worker. So it was like they both simultaneously, like from the left and the right, formed. Like to me, it was like a left brain, right brain, both hemispheres activated in the spirit of Harriet. Even the chair, right, is an emblem on the top of Orsette's head.
Yes,
which Orsette deals with.
That's water. Right, the chair on top of her head.
Right.
Wow.
Which is by Black men. The throne, right? So it represents the throne. It represents kingly essence, which is Leo season, right? King of the jungle, right? Type of environment, eye of the tiger, big cat type of energy, right? That's all into play. So I thought it was like very, very, very not only entertaining because I laughed my ass off, but I felt like it was literally a bat single. Like he threw the hat up, like it's up. Like that's what we say when things. That's what we say in the hood. Like it's up, like it's up and it's stuck when things is going to go down. So it was really up, right? And even mentally, it was up for people to see. People all over the world needed to see that because there's so many white people, that will say this to me. I've had white people say this to me working in corporate America. Like when Black people finally stand up, things are going to really change. Like, or why don't you guys like stand up? Why don't you guys fight back? And they don't understand the systematic racism and the thought process.
They don't understand the godliness of it. Like it's we're so beyond just stand up and raise up right now. Like the gods within us raise up first. And
Yeah.
everything happens in divine timing. And I think that this was one of those situations where the gods in us stood up and was like, yeah, not today.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just everything from it being on the water representing the subconscious, like I said, like it was just it was everything, and it was in the spirit of justice.
Yes.
You know, like you can't say it was a racial thing. You know, it was a just thing. If it was reverse, and some black guys would jump on a white guy for the same reason, doing his job, and white people came in, that would have been just.
Yes.
You know, it's not just about. Yes, it was definitely was supposed to fall in the melanated man and woman's favor.
And
for
it
the
was
universe to see
Alabama.
that. And it was Alabama, right?
One of
Civil
those
rights.
racist states that there is. Like,
Mhm.
whoo,
Yeah.
Lord
You
have
think
mercy.
about all the fear that we've been conditioned with over the years, you know what I'm saying? Even like things in the Bible, verses that say slaves obey your master, or, you know, be humble, or turn the other cheek, you know. All these things we've been programmed, all these fears and these limitations of our own power, of our own inner lion, you know.
Yes.
Even if you think of the Christ consciousness, Jesus was from the tribe of Judah. He was called the Lion of Judah, you know. And part of resisting is, you know, like he was flipping the money tables, you know, flipping out when things didn't go his way in the narrative. So shining your light is not just about, you know, looking good and manifesting cars, homes, and a new boo and things like that. It's about standing up for yourself, your true self, and what you true. And that's what this whole theme and this whole Leo season has been about. It's about like your truth. What is it that you need to do, that you need to eliminate, that you need to process the shadow work of your childhood, especially that you need to process and reprogram? Are you going within in meditation to do those type of things? Are you doing that, working with these spirits for that? Or are you just working with it for money, for love, for a new house, for a new car, to hex your boo, your ex that you loved just a month ago, and now you want to see them die and their whole family die, right? Is that all you're using magic for? Or are you using it to make yourself better, right? Because that's what it's about. It's about climbing up the tree of life, not just being a human with magical powers. It's about being a reflection of God. And what we saw in that riverfront was God at work, right? Not a mystery God, but the drop of water that you are in the ocean that contains the same properties of the ocean, right? We are gods. We are a reflection of gods. We're made in the image of gods. So people should see that when you're walking on your day-to-day basis. And with that being said, anybody want to add on anything? All right, I'll take the ashe. All right, so let's talk about the new moon in Leo. All right, new moon in Leo. As you were saying, Mo, Leo is Heru, right? Horus, Heru, Horus, what the Greeks call Horus. And it's all about the falcon, you know, the perspective, higher perspective, being able to see above the fray, and will, right? I will. And willpower has nothing to do with your emotions, right? It has nothing to do with how you feel. The person who goes to the gym, like an Arnold Schwarzenegger or a Mike Rashid, if you follow Mike Rashid, or any big, you know, diesel guy, fitness guy, they always tell you, like, there's days I don't want to go to the gym. You know, if you even listen to like a David Goggins, you know, somebody who runs crazy, like he'll tell you, like, there's days you don't want to do the shit. There's days you don't want to, but they've conditioned themselves, right, over time, that no matter what the limits are, they are going to propel past their emotions, past their feelings. And that is really tuning into the power of the mind, right? That's what it's really all about. But go ahead, ladies. I don't want to hijack this. Go ahead.
Oh no, continue.
I know that was good.
That was a really great point.
I relaxed.
Right?
I was just saying that's like, yeah, like it's really you nurturing the power of your mind. And every time you do things like that, like you resist your emotions to your physical emotions that say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Like there's a story, a comedic story about slaughtering a pet, right? And there's these snakes, right? It's the negative aspect of what you would call Kundalini energy, right? Or rising, spiraling energy, right? And cutting those snakes is you using the power of both hemispheres of your brain, engaging your third eye and your vision and saying, okay, I'm going to go to the gym. Yeah, I don't feel like it. Yeah, I'm tired, but I'm still going to go. or whatever it is, diet, whatever it is, spiritual work, whatever, meditation, right? Lighting candles, listening to the binaural beats, right? Things that change your frequency and align you to the vibration of where you want to go. Taking a spiritual bath, starting a YouTube, starting an Instagram, changing, whatever it is, following whatever your passion is, taking the first step towards that. It takes a mental programming, right? It takes that Leo energy to where you are bold, you got your chest out, right? You're dynamic, right? You're sitting on your throne, your chair, right? And you're using the power of your subconscious, just like Aquaman, right? It's a representation of that spiraling energy to where, okay, your thoughts are overriding what's going on, because he could have sat back, right? He didn't have to go in that water.
That's right.
He could have sat his ass back.
He swam in his clothes.
Yeah, in his clothes. Like he have no his work outfit.
He swam. He was gone. I'm gonna tell you, I need a friend like that. I need
coworkers a friend.
Like that. I need them in my life. It's so interesting. I love this thing you're saying about Leo and the reprogramming. Well, like the boldness and the courage and the confidence, right? And this idea of doing things you don't want to do for the long-term reward. And I am constantly pushing the edges for myself because, and I mean this with love, like I'm really lazy. I'm really lazy. Let me say it this way. I have been really addicted to comfort. And it shows up in interesting ways. Like my house is kind of clean. You know what I mean? And then it gets dirty, right? Because I just do what I have to do. So I have to make up for that kind of stuff. So sometimes I'll have to I'm going to pay for it some way. I'm either going to pay somebody to come and clean it for me, or I'm going to suffer under my laziness, right? Like, or whatever it is, but it's like how to create new patterns. So I am constantly every month, according to where the sun is, I am working to develop a new pattern. And I do something that takes me out of my comfort zone. So for a long time I was doing ice baths, or, and I love that. And I still do ice baths, but then my body grows. My body makes the adjustment and it doesn't have as much effort. It doesn't have as much impact. So I've been doing this thing lately called Sadhu. This is a board of nails. And I have 2 of them and I stand on them. And it does this really interesting thing. Like initially it hurts. Like, of course, right? It's nails. It fucking hurts. And I stand on it for as long as I can, maybe like 3 or 4 breaths. I set an intention before I go. I set an intention to recode my system because the Pisces energy, it comes through the feet. And Pisces root has every sign in it. So our feet have the nerve endings for every organ, every system in our body is anchored in the feet. So standing on this, I set an intention to recode my system so that I can have more endurance, so that I'm more resourceful, so that I can change more quickly, so that I'm not as stuck, right? So that it's not as hard for me to change from one way of being into another, so that I actually am having joy when I'm doing hard things, like so that I'm not begrudging it, right? So that I actually can see the evidence of the work that I do. I want to be able to perceive it. So then that encourages me to do it more. And this stuff is like I always say, when you have children, train your children early to be disciplined. That is the key. Train your children early to be disciplined, because that will help them as adults to be disciplined. Because right now, and I don't mind it, but I'm really training myself to be disciplined is what I'm doing. I'm training myself to be in my body, and that I can be in my body and uncomfortable. I don't have to be afraid of hard things. And there's a benefit for me facing hard things. So that's what I'm doing for this Leo energy, like really reprogramming myself through my body and through my mind.
That is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah,
Definitely amazing.
yeah, definitely, definitely. I was thinking about there's a song by this hip hop group, Dead Prez, that goes, "Discipline makes things easier. Organize your mind." Right, that's the hook, and it's really true. When let's go back to even like this Leo energy. Right, Jesus was considered the Lion of Judah. Right, so when you're talking about Christ, he had 12 disciples, right? Disciples, discipline, right? And if you look at these things from an esoteric perspective, you realize the disciples are just different aspects of the moon, right? Different phases of the moon, the 12 disciples or the 13 moons, right? That we are going through on these monthly phases. And it's really about you aligning to these particular energies and being disciplined enough to align yourself and say, okay, this is Leo. So where am I lacking in my willpower, right? What am I allowing to distract me or to overcome me or to limit me? Is it drugs? Is it partying? Is it that I always need to be around somebody, right? What is it? Do I need to take a new course or take a class, right? Do I need to sit my ass down and maybe it's not as entertaining, maybe it's not as funny, but study this thing and read this thing and learn this thing, or make it fun. Shit, put on some music, put on some binaural beats, put on some jazz behind it, right? Make it fun, being creative, right? Stepping into that childlike space is what this new moon is going to be all about. And the challenges are you just falling back into old patterns, or you being comfortable, or the negative side is you're not going into your light and you going into escapism, right? Just going into being in a daze, being distracted. So, because you want to avoid doing the work. A lot of people avoid doing the work because it's ugly. You got to really go into the trenches. You got to be like that swimmer, like that Aquaman, and take that risk, right? To go in that water and swim, you know what I'm saying? To go into a fight that you may not win, right? Where you where they were outnumbered, right? It was like 5 people on one guard, right? But he took the risk to say, I'm going to swim and I'm going to help, even if I'm going to get my ass whipped, right? And that's how you got to go through life. Even if this is going to whip your ass, even if, like, again, back to the gym, it's going to hurt for you to build muscle. It ain't going to be easy, right? It's going to hurt for you when you diet and then taking care of your body. It's not going to be easy to take some of these herbs, right? They're very bitter. I drank some of my colon cleanse a little bit before this live, and I was like, shout out to Dr. Mission's colon cleanse. And I was like, man, this shit is so bitter. Like, it just hit me, like, just hit me today. But that's part of the work, right? If I want to keep myself clean and really be a vessel of the divine, right, and walk around with this energy and this electromagnetic field that I always talk to y'all about, you're going to have to make some changes. You're going to have to do things that are uncomfortable. You're going to have to escape the comfort zone. Go ahead, Mel. What you got to say about this new moon and Leo?
I love Leo energy, and I used to not, because as a Virgo, Leo energy used to be extremely intense and like pretentious to me, right? Like, because if Leos, they're like, look at me and all of this stuff. It's so anti-Virgo. But I have my North Node in Leo, and so I had to get really comfortable with the energy of Leo. And I think what I love about it the most is the element of authenticity and the courage that it requires to step into that authenticity. And I feel like if you're on your spiritual path, if you are awakened and you're ascending, that courage becomes so in your face at certain points in time, and understanding what it really means to live from your heart space and understand yourself. And I feel like this particular Leo season, we're learning that very intensely with that North Node now in Aries. That fire energy, because Leo and Aries are both fire signs. So this, although it's not an exact trine, that North Node in Aries with the sun in Leo, it's trine energy. So it's really getting us to not only understand ourselves, but understand our willpower, but understand our desires and allow ourselves to be desire led. And what does desire mean to us in this new stage of where we're at? Because I think that at some point, desire and the things that you want in your heart, it looked one way, and now it looks and has taken on a completely different meaning. And I think that many of us are waking up to that, and that's being energized within us right now. So I feel like this particular Leo season it feels different. It definitely feels different from last year. I'll say that much. Like, I feel like it's just a lot more electric, a lot more activated, a lot more in your face, intense, a lot hotter. Like, I mean, just look at what's going on in the world. Look at the temperatures. Look at how people are acting. Like, this Leo season is lit, literally. And I feel like this new moon is really lit. Like, it is like the perfect new moon for new shit. Like, seriously, seriously. So I find that this new moon is going to be extremely, extremely, and it's going to set the groundwork for things to come. And I feel like so we're tapping into the desires of our heart. We're planting those seeds, but it's in Virgo season that you're going to be. It's like your feet are going to be put to the fire, and that ability to maintain that fire that you have now and work through it, work with it, do the daily work, do the daily rituals. That it's like you're going to be put to task in Virgo season. So it's going to be a very interesting 2 months to see how the things that we want unfold and to see who is going to continue with these things and who's not, who's going to have too many days where they don't want to go to the gym, right? It's okay to not want to go to the gym. And maybe it's okay to not go to the gym, but how many days are you not going to the gym? Are you going to allow yourself to sort of let your desires fall by the wayside? Are you going to go back into old patterns that aren't in alignment with the things that you want? And by the end of the year, we're going to see who stuck with their shit and who didn't. So it's going to be really interesting and very eye-opening over the next couple of months. But those seeds, we're planting them now at this new moon.
Yeah. You talk. Yeah, the desire thing, made me think of like feelings aren't facts, right? But feelings are tools. Emotions are tools. If you don't know how to use your feelings as a tool to manifest your reality, then you will be ruled by someone else's reality. Because guess who knows, right? The quote unquote secret societies, the advertisers, the marketers, the capitalists, they know how to use the tools of magic, because all marketing and advertising are principles of magic. From the visual to the auditory to the commercials that are funny, they're not just funny just because they want to be funny. It's funny so that you could get hooked on the product, and there's a sense of laughter and joy associated with that product. There's pretty girls in the advertising, not just because they want to put a pretty girl in there, because they know that sex sells and so forth and so on. Or well-built handsome man, or whatever, your flavor is, right? These things are magical tools. Glamour and grammar are both tools are associated with magic. If you look up those two words in the etymology, those words will say conjuring spells or magical practices. Don't take my word for it. Look it up yourself. So with us stepping into this light, there are going to be challenges. There is going to be work that needs to be done. And I also want to say this. This is a very, as my man A. Rashid says, his favorite word, propitious time for male shadow work in particular. There's a lot of men that aren't doing enough shadow work, and it's showing where we claim to be super logical and we claim to be reasonable, but where a lot of us are really led by emotions, right? And we've seen this in the DJ Academic Erykah Badu debacle, which I'll get into in my video later. We've seen that in the Tory Lanez, Megan Thee Stallion thing, being led by emotion, right? Not being in control of your feelings, not letting these things, this negative energy rise up. During the summer, especially like during this Leo season, there's also a lot of killings that happen. And this is from you not being able to control those energies of desire in your favor and you letting this energy rule, especially as a man. You know what I'm saying? Women is different, but as a man, you really got to control how you lead by your emotions and be confident in who you are. If a woman says you look a certain way, or you're short, or you're not tall enough, or you're into all these crystals or whatever, or you're weird, embrace that shit. Don't even respond to that shit. Don't even act like that shit is gonna move you. Like academics from 5 years ago is complaining that Erykah Badu called him a mouse, called him Jerry from Tom and Jerry. This is from 5 fucking years ago.
Wow. And what happened? Because I don't know the story. What happened?
I don't either.
Okay, so there's you guys know DJ Academics? May not. Okay. So DJ Academics, he was with Erykah Badu, and so how it started was Erykah Badu was on his show, Everyday Struggle. 5 years ago, and she kept saying, "You look like somebody, like somebody from the past, from the '70s, a show from the '70s." And then towards the end of the show, she said, "You look like Jerry from Tom and Jerry." And and when you pull up the picture of Jerry, he does look like
He does. He does. But
like
Jerry's
Jerry,
adorable.
right? But he laughed it off on the show, right? He acted like it didn't bother him, right? False bravado, right?
Yes.
False bravado, ego, right? Acted like it didn't bother him, laughed it off. And then, so subsequently, 5 years later, he had a live stream on his channel, and someone said, Erykah Badu's going to get you, you mouse or something like that in his comments. And he saw it, and he was drinking, right?
Yeah.
Drunk mind speaks the sober truth. And he just went off, called her, a CUM rag, and ran through in the industry, and, whatever. He said a whole bunch of stuff, right? Which I'm not going to repeat on this platform. But you would definitely look it up. It's online. It's on YouTube. And, yeah, but this was from 5 years ago. And Erykah Badu, being the alchemist that she is, right, having the energy that she has, she took that energy of her being cursed out and her being talked about. She didn't respond. This was very masculine. And when I say masculine, I'm not talking about men, like the physical vessel. I'm talking about masculine, external, logical, reasoning energy, right? That men or women could possess. But it was masculine energy, right? And she took that energy that he gave him, and she said, you know what? This happened 5 years ago. This guy's still hurt, Basically, I'm paraphrasing. He's talking about my vagina. So she started selling Badu pussy incense, right? And it sold out.
Yeah.
So she turned that negative energy into coins.
Yeah.
Right? She didn't go back and bash him. She didn't go back and talk about him. She didn't respond emotionally on the internet about it. She turned it into coins. And I think the post was less than 40 seconds, right? With her selling the incense. Like, it was very, very brief when he went on like a 5-6 minute tirade. So who's the man in that scenario, right? Shit, Erykah Badu had her balls out in that scenario to me, right? So really, a lot of men got to get into this spiritual practice, if just for shadow work alone. Talk therapy can only do so much. Some of these things are somatic, and being somatic means it's physical, right? It's in your tissues, it's in your body, A lot of y'all need some herbs, some herbal teas, right? Need a woman that really cares about you beyond your material things, right? And you need to not lean into your material things as your essence of manhood, right? Because that doesn't make you a man at all. If you're going overseas and you're with women in poorer countries, guess what? They know you're not confident in yourself. They know you don't know yourself. They know you're not leaning into your true strengths and powers and don't give a fuck. Like, Erykah Badu didn't give a fuck, for real. She didn't care. She was like, yo, I'm going to take this opportunity and turn it into coins. With that being said, talk to me about the money aspect of this new moon in Leo and how that converts into coinage and money and things like that. I saw something, Mel, you were talking about as far as this energy being very financially fit in your videos.
So because Venus also rules money, and Venus is going to be conjunct to this new moon, and because we're doing a lot of inner work, and when I say inner work, it's not like we're just examining what happened in the past. We're sort of integrating our shadow selves. We're doing a lot of heavy lifting right now. And I feel like a lot of that, I feel like the money is going to be a byproduct of the inner work that we're doing. I don't necessarily think it's one of those situations where you're doing this work just to make money. I think many of us, and if you're on a certain trajectory, especially on your spiritual journey, the money is just going to be a byproduct of all of that heavy lifting that you're doing, all of that inner work, that shadow work, that inner child work. All of that is going to sort of birth you into someone new, and the money is just going to start flowing. But like textbook wise, Venus has to do with money. And so it's one of these new moons where, if regardless of where you are on your spiritual journey, whether you're doing the deep inner work or you're just like, oh, what are the subject matter for this new moon? It would be love and money, essentially, because Venus is love and money. Leo has a lot to do with our heart space. So when it comes to romance, when it comes to love of any kind, like that's basically the subject matter of this new moon. But that Venus retrograde is really what gives this new moon that sort of flavor of inner work that leads to outer abundance.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah,
It's,
yeah.
the money piece is very interesting because the thing that has been coming through for me, and I've been noticing with myself and other clients, is that we give money more power than we should. Like, I know in my
Talk
mind,
about it.
I have a tendency to associate everything with cost. And everything doesn't cost money. Some things cost energy, things cost time, things there is an exchange, but like I'm doing the work to change the dynamic that I have around money. How do I relate to money? How much power am I giving to money? What are the things that I can do that are necessary and valuable in my life that won't cost me money? Like really understanding the value of money, but not giving it a value that it doesn't. It's how many times have you heard people or you yourself said, it would be better if I had more money. My life would be better if there was more money. And the thing that I'm starting to realize with myself and others is, well, what can you do now that will make your life better that doesn't have anything to do with money?
It's a great question.
And in what I see in people is that sometimes we are subconsciously waiting for money to show up. We're subconsciously, right. And it's like, I mean, that stuff is so subtle, but it's creative. And the question is, how can we begin to realize that we are the money? Like that video Reverend Ike has. I am the money, right? So if I am the money, if I am the magic, if I am the power, then I don't need to wait on anything. And if I don't believe that I'm the money, then I need to do my work to heal so that I can realize that the money comes through my conjuring of it, my wielding, my will is what pulls it in. So it's these very subtle mindsets that have us externalizing our power. When this happens, when I get that, like that stuff. So that to me is what is changing with this Venus and Leo, like understanding our own value and being able to function in our lives from the knowing of our own value and who we are, and not based upon how much money we have or don't have, right? Like, and so yeah, that's kind of, I feel like I said a lot, but I
It
think you
did,
know what.
it did, but it was great. It was great.
Yeah,
Both-
it was great.
It was great. Yeah. So you guys, when you guys were talking, it sparked that in me. Again, back to the Jesus piece, right? We conditioned Sunday for Sunday for Sunday for Sunday for centuries that something outside of ourselves is going to make our life better, right?
Mhm.
When we get the money, when we get the right woman or man, when we get the right job, when we get the right career, when my business finally takes off, when I make more money in my business, right? When somebody comes from somewhere and I hit the lotto, right? Or
Mhm.
a bag of money just falls out the sky, right? We've been conditioned to think that external things are going to make our life better. And it all goes back to the umbrella of Christendom, right? It all goes back to you thinking that somebody else is going to descend or something else is going to descend and make your life better.
Yeah.
But you have to work these things out for yourself. This is really what Leo sees. And I will. That's the mantra. Like, I will. What are you willing into existence?
Mhm.
You, like Mo and Mel saying, you're the money. You're the money. It comes out of you. It comes through, even if you're working a job, right?
Mhm.
Without you, they need to replace you because you are the energy that is producing to help the company or help the business. So you're the money. Even if you're an employee, you are the money. you're a human resource, right? That's why you got an HR.
Mhm.
You're a resource. You're resourceful. So whatever you're doing at your job, you could even translate that aspect of it to some part of whatever your passion is or your passion project or what you're really here to be doing, right? Even if it's not full time or it's part time or whatever. I'm not saying leave your job or anything like that, but I am saying you should have something outside of your job. Unless your job is your passion, unless your job is your career, then you should have, and not even just your career, you're passionate about it. You should have something that you're doing in play, right? Because Leo season is also about play. When you see lions with their pride, they're always playing with each other. They're always biting each other on the neck or rolling around, right? Or barking. That's one of the aspects you see of the pride. They're always playing around with each other. But it's serious business, right? They got to hunt down buffalo and, hippo and look for carcasses and things like that to feed the family. If you ever watch one of these nature shows, they almost always like on the brink of death for the pride, like or because of climate changes and things like that, where they have to find some zebra or some waiting for gazelles to come during the time of year just to feed the family. But they're still playful, right? They still enjoy themselves. So find enjoyment in this life, find enjoyment in the process of doing this work, find enjoyment in your spiritual work. Don't make this weird so stiff and rigid that you can't crack a smile. Like today, put on some music like after this or sometime tonight and just dance. Dance in your room, dance in your home. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy the fact that you are alive. If you've made mistakes in the past, we all have, and we all will continue. All three of us have, all three of us will. We don't tell y'all all our business, but we going through the struggle, right? We all go through the struggles of life. The YouTubers ain't going to tell you that, right? They're going to sell you, all these courses and spell work and shit that you could do for yourself. Not knocking it, everybody get their money. But I am saying a lot of these things you could do for yourself. Stop looking for a savior or somebody to save you and work on saving you. The best spells are the spells you create on your own. The best rituals are the rituals you create on your own. And you start off with the basics, learning from someone else. But you shouldn't be, for lack of a better term, you shouldn't be suckling on someone's tit, That's on the tree of life. That's all set. That's like at the bottom. Your side is on the bottom. That's the Black Madonna, where you're suckling on someone's tit because you need somebody to help you develop. But after a while, you leave the breast and you start walking and you go on your own, right? That's that Tiferet Heru energy, that sixth sphere, where you're moving on your own. So it's very important that we are enacting repetitious ideation and movements that are in concurrent with our dreams, our goals, and our visions of our highest self. Anything you guys want to add on? Any more elements to this new moon? What do you guys think about the fires in Hawaii and things like that? I thought that was very interesting. And how even in Alaska, right, there's these military over, they say there's like China and Russia fleet ships or fleets of ships on the border, like ready to attack, wars and rumors of wars and things of that nature. We already have the war, the quote unquote war between Russia and Ukraine, right? Now we got battleships at the station, right? Like, what do you guys think? I have my own opinion, but I'll go last. Or any astrological insights or anything like that?
North Node in Aries is wartime. It's war. It's war versus peace. Yeah. So there's gonna be a lot of that, but war has such a very specific place in our society that I think a lot of people overlook. No, it is not beautiful. It's not pretty, but it breeds newness. Like everything about life is synthesis and antithesis. And that is the circle of life that we go through. Things come up to come back down. Things get birthed to be destroyed. That's just the cycle of life. And we just happen to be living in the cycle. That's the antithesis part. That's war, that strife, that things breaking down, that Pluto and Capricorn energy where things are just dismantling. Like that's just a part of it. I mean, as far as the battleships are concerned, as far as Hawaii, it's just the earth is fed up. Like the earth is just like, I'm not here to play anymore. Like what you were doing, what we had, the foundation that we were on, it's no longer sustainable. It's no longer sustainable. And we all contracted to this. At some point in time, we all agreed that this is what was going to happen. This is what we were going to experience. Some of us were going to be bystanders. Some of us were going to check out permanently at this point in time. But this is life. This is the universe. This is God at work. This is, yeah, basically.
Ashe. Wow. I don't really, the war thing for me is interesting. I mean, I agree with totally what Mel said. Like, I do agree, like the warrior aspect, the birthing of new realities. And then the ego part of it for me is just like the need to control resources. That's the thing. Like, it's and I'm very aware of how we've been conditioned as humans, like that we shop in grocery stores, overgrowing our own food. We've externalized so much. So the fight for resources is real because we are not doing things on our own. And if we grew our own food, we wouldn't be in grocery stores. If we grew our own herbs, we wouldn't be at doctor's offices. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we so this war stuff for me is about people trying to control resources and money and all of that. And it's just interesting. I'm just aware of it. I'm like, oh, okay, this is about resource. And then I go sometimes, like, this is me just going down the rabbit hole. But like, Africa has all the resources. Africa is the resourced country. And I mean, not country, continent, because Africa's not a country. Continent. It's the resource continent. And everyone is attempting to dominate people of African descent. It's just a fascinating thing to me. And so I'm constantly putting myself in that and asking, how do I dominate my own resource? How do I dominate myself? How do I, and I, down to the most common denominator, right? So like, as a woman, I want to have control over my system. I don't want to be a resource for anyone without my conscious agreement. So where is that happening? Where I need to see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and most things in our world right now are based in predatory systems where, like, so they're in Niger stealing the uranium, right? They could be paying for the uranium. They could be, right? And so how can I as an individual, how can we as individuals ask through meditation, how am I participating in these predatory systems? Because we're all using the resources, y'all, these cell phones, the computers, it's all fucking from the uranium or wherever it is. It's all the same thing. And
Colton. Yeah,
we're
straight from
all
Africa.
right. So how can I don't have the answer. I'm coming from a space of curiosity. Maybe because who knows, maybe my great grandchild will come up with a solution for this because I'm plugging it into the soil of my consciousness now, and somebody in my family, who knows, I'm just saying this, how the spiritual stuff works, or somebody else. The point is, I know I'm participating in it. And so since I'm participating in it, I'm participating in my own slavery. I'm participating in my own, allowing I am participating. So how can I begin to stop and give my energy into experiences that are equitable, where there is a exchange and an awareness? So then that means I got to understand my own value and what I bring, because I'm going to exchange something that only I can offer. We have to understand what we bring, right? So you got to get to know yourself. The schools didn't educate us to know who we are or really what we can do. They conditioned us to go be a doctor, go be a lawyer. But the medicine system is completely flawed. So what are they studying in these med schools? Like, they're not healing anybody. So what's the point of going to be a doctor? They don't heal. You know what I'm saying? So like, we got to really understand our own value and not allow our value to be dictated to us. And the internal work that listen, this is just Mars is conjunct my sun right now in Virgo. I am so in the details.
And fired up about it too.
Fired up, yeah.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah. I was I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at, you know, the immediate response that normal people are going to feel is fear, right, of this happening. But of war and, you know, things happening to their establishment. But as you were saying, one of you ladies was saying earlier that, you know, our souls, they're infinite. You know, every atom in your body has been here since the beginning of time, right? You're made of stardust, so you are here, you will be here, you're not going anywhere. So fear is never an appropriate response to things that happen on the external world. What is the appropriate response is what you were saying, Mo, problem solving, right? You were saying that as well, Mel, like solving the problem, figuring out, okay, where can it go? And if you don't have the solution, that's okay. But at least you're putting that energy out there, right? So that you will see, we're energy-based beings in physical bodies, right? We're really vibrational based beings in physical bodies. And the more, especially melanated people, right? So-called Black people, the more we realize the power of our emotion, our energy emotion, instead of using it for fuckery for the most part and simply entertainment and entertaining others, the more we use it towards these rituals, towards spell work and learning our majesty and being honorable people, right? Tapping into these principles to where we're honorable people that people could look at. Just like the Montgomery Broad thing, right? That's an honorable thing for people to fight for justice. That's why white people can't deny it. That's why there's so many videos by them looking at it and applauding it, because it's an honorable thing to stand up for yourself, right? It's an honorable thing to have pride in who you are. It's an honorable thing to not be beating down and downtrodden and turning the other cheek. It's totally honorable. So we have to get back to the point. And again, I want to point to men to where we have honor, right? Honor in our tongue, honor in what we're saying, honor in our word, right? If we speak it, it's true. If we speak it, we're going to make it happen, right? We're speaking, we're going to do our best, right? But that's for everyone too, but especially men, right? We got to get back to this point to where we're looked at in that honorable state of mind. Because once the men set it off in Montgomery, then the women came, right? And the women came and handled the women. Like, it was beautiful. It was beautiful, right? The women would come in and beat up the men and help their men, the white women, and then the black women came and said, nah, they gonna put the beats on you and kick you down, right? It was fair. It was all honorable. It was all equitable. It was equitable justice, right? So that's just a reflection of these things that we have to work on as far as being balanced. You know, we talk about Venus. Venus is not only Taurus, right, the bull, but Venus is also Libra, the scales. So it deals with balance, right? It deals with that level of comfort or the level of money or the level of finance, right? When you're a multi-billionaire, you're running companies with, like, Jeff Bezos. Like, think of how many Amazon, you know, shipping outposts there are, you know, how many corporate offices he has, how many places Amazon ships across the world, across the 50 states in general, right? That's a big responsibility, right? That's a scale. You got to manage that. And he has to take care of himself too, right? He can't die. He has to take care of himself, right? He has to eat right. He has to drink or take whatever he has to have the brain power to take care of, manage all these things, right? It's not as easy as it may look being a mega mogul or mega billionaire. It looks easy on TV because they're showing you the highlights, but the dirty work is really where it is. So we got to get down and do that dirty work repetitiously to get to the point. And even if you study any multimillionaire or billionaire with corporations, they'll tell you how repetitious it is and how they have habits, right? All successful people have habits, daily habits that they implement to get them to this state of success. And if you want to get to a state of success, now is the time to not think about it, not just visualize, not just hope, not just wish, not just Oshu's going to come down and, or Heru or, Ogun's going to just serve war for me. No. What's the war that you're having within yourself? What are you going to war with within? What are you fighting within? What is dimming your light, right? And not allowing you to shine as the person that you are. And tackle those things and work on those things. And this is what the work really is. This is what the candle burning really is. This is what the contacting the ancestors really is. This is what working with the spirits really is. It's about ascension. It's about you being that sun when you walk out in the street, fall, winter, spring, or summer, and you reflecting that light. But it takes work. It's not going to be just an easy thing.
Yes,
Any more? What, say it again, Mo?
You will sacrifice. You will sacrifice. The other day I was I've just been feeling some energy in my life that I was like, this is really hard. And so I went on TikTok and saw this sister doing readings, and a woman probably about my age, and I booked a reading with her. And it was so interesting because she didn't even let me say anything. She literally was just like, your ancestors have been like trying to get you to realize that you are leaking energy. Like you're engaging with old relationships. You know how you have people in your life that, maybe you guys weren't in a, let me say, like I wasn't in a full on like committed relationship, but you're friends and you also have a sexual relationship, and sometimes you're sexual and you're just friends, or, just that kind of relationship. And I'm a grown woman, so I have a number of those kind of people in my life because I've lived a long time, is what I'm trying to say, right? So I have relationships that have extended over 20 years, and maybe for 6 years we were seeing each other, and then we stop, and then 3 years later we start again, and just let it linger. And this woman was like, cut all of the cords, cut everything. It's leaking your energy. It's draining you. And it was so interesting because I didn't even realize, like, it was just so interesting because it's just so fascinating to see how the things that we do on a regular daily basis can be things that are actually keeping you from where you want to go. And it might not seem like that. It might seem innocent. It might seem like it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? Or, simple things. Like I had to stop drinking alcohol recently. I'm not even a big alcohol drinker, but I love to get together with friends once a month and just go have like 3 margaritas, like, or drink a bottle. And like your body can't do that anymore. You can't hold this spiritual resonance and completely toxify your liver. Alcohol is toxic. You're too porous. Liquor makes you susceptible to spirits, and you're already too susceptible to spirits. So you don't want, I'm not even a big drinker. Like, so it's just, okay. It's just Mars and Virgo. I'm sorry. Okay. That's all.
No, that's funny. Cause I was dealing with that. I was dealing with that yesterday with one of my friends. Like, yeah, tore down, wasted to the point where he couldn't even move his legs. I had to Google it. I didn't even know that was a thing, but it is a thing where you can get so drunk that you can't move your legs. Like he physically could not move his legs, and we were going up steps, so he was just stuck on the steps, and he couldn't move his legs. Like I had to get an ambulance for him, and they had to bring a cart down to put him on the ambulance because he was so drunk that he could not move his legs. And it's a person that's older than me, So yeah, like. So be careful out here playing with the alcohol and the heat. They got these things called nutcrackers here in New York. And the nutcrackers, he had 3 of them. I had 1, and I was already kind of, little bent. So when I met him, because I came a little later than when I saw him, he was already tipsy. Then he had that last nutcracker with me, and that last nutcracker had me like a little loopy. So he's shorter than me. Yeah, he was finished. That was it. It was a lot that went on. Yeah, so when you talk about alcohol, it's just triggered that. And I wanted to also just talk about the bricks, like these companies that are getting companies. continents that are getting together, in these countries that are getting together. Brazil is a melanated place, right? There's a lot of dark-skinned Brazilians out there, right? People act like they're not black just because they speak Spanish, but they are black melanated people. Russia, the Black Russians. You can look into the Black Russians and look at even in a lot of the places of worship, right, which are portals. There's a lot of old churches that are literally spiritual portals where they put churches on there, that where they have melanated people as their iconography, as their angels, as their Jesuses, and things like that on the walls that have been there since centuries. And Russia has never colonized Africa. Right? There's no point in time that Russia has colonized Africa. India was Indus Kush, right? There's tons of melanated people in India, right? There's a whole caste system that tries to keep them down, but it was once Indus Kush. You have China. All you have to do is look at Confucius' nose and look at the Buddha's nose, look at ancient pictures of Buddha and Confucius. You'll see that those are melanated beings. It's undeniable. And South Africa, that's all it is. So that's the BRICS. Those are the BRICS nations that are coming together, that are trying to create a currency based on gold. And gold is also a Leo, right? Gold, the sun. Gold is a representation of the sun. So that's also Leo energy. Also, 8-8 is when a lot of these the Niger thing kind of set off and kind of hit his head. So even though I know, Mo, you like this, it's a fake holiday and all that, but I feel like we created it. Like Christmas, like Thanksgiving, 8-8, we created it as a holiday.
Yeah. So, and when I say it's not the alignment that they're saying, like, it's not. I'm not sure what the alignment is that they're talking about, Sirius and Orion. Like, I feel like maybe it happened one time and it was but that's not the alignment that's happening now. Every time you do it, all I'm saying.
Right.
But 8-8 is real.
No, there's definitely the energy of Sirius popping off. Like that pops off at July 8th, where it is more visible. I covered that in the video before on one of my other lives. But as in the Sirius and Orion belt kind of goes hand in hand. But as far
Sirius
as
is in Cancer, that's the thing.
Right.
Sirius is in Cancer. So I'm not that's all. Okay.
Yeah. But as far as 8-8, like you said, being a definitive date where something magical is really happening, no.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say for the numerology, right? You could say
the
16, 6 is 27, right?
Yeah.
7 is a number of creation, number of completion, 7 days in a week, 7 wonders of the world, 7 continents, 7 seas, et cetera, right? You could correlate it to that. So it's still a spiritual resonance to that date, But why not? That's part of that's part of like the Leo energy too, creating your own shit. Creating your own holiday.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Non-government sanctioned holidays, doing your own thing. So it's apropos that it would be in Leo season that the 8-8 Lionsgate, Stargate energy would be prominent. So the more people that are engaged in it, the better. You know what I'm saying? The better it is. And we see what's happening in the world due to it. Will some of our systems change? Like I was at the event yesterday, Hip Hop 50 in the Bronx, free event, and something just swept over me like this will never happen again. And not just the Hip Hop 50, but those type of outdoor free gatherings. So who knows what's going to happen next year, right? 2024. We're in the beginning stages of Aquarian age since 2000. And, we're still in the beginning stages. And who knows what's going to happen. But, guard your spirit, man. I'm not telling anybody to be scared or be fearful, but do your work. If you do your work, you'll get the downloads, you'll get the ideation, you'll get the visions, you'll get the upper hand, you'll know what to do. You'll just get an inkling. I need to buy this or I need to get that. Once I saw these skies scaring, go crazy in New York, I bought a gas mask, I'm not just going to sit there and be scared, right? I'm going to fuck on Amazon to get me a gas mask and learn how to use it just in case,
Well, where do you live? Where do you?
Florida.
Oh, I thought you were in New York too. Okay, you're in Florida. Okay.
And I'm from New York, but I live in Florida.
Okay.
You gotta watch the mosquitoes out there, Mel. the Bill Gates mosquitoes. Geo-engineered mosquitoes. They going crazy out there. Yeah, there's an outbreak of syphilis too that's happening, and it's definitely tied to those mosquitoes. Yeah, definitely tied to those.
The mosquitoes are giving people syphilis?
Yeah,
well, I didn't hear that. I heard there was a syphilis outbreak. I didn't hear about
a syphilis
the
outbreak. Yeah, but the mosquitoes, Well, go ahead, Mo.
I'm
Ask your
just
question.
asking, is it coming? Are the mosquitoes passing syphilis around, or is that a sexually transmitted disease like it always has been, or is it a mosquito-driven disease now?
So there's mosquitoes that Bill Gates' company that he's associated with has geoengineered these mosquitoes to be anti-malaria and anti-syphilis.
Oh wow!
So why would you geoengineer mosquitoes to be anti-malaria, anti-syphilis when we don't have that here in America? So
I
it's
pray
important.
for them to die. I pray for them. I pray for death. I'm serious. I'm not playing. I do. I literally spend time praying because that is how we protect ourselves. And I do rituals for them because Sekhmet was, the daughter of Ra, and Sekhmet was bloodthirsty, and she like the mythology around Sekhmet is that she was a defender of the righteous and would, really take down. So it's important for us to honor those energies inside of us. Like these people shouldn't just be able to do whatever they want to do. We have power. Use it. Like, I pray for their hearts to stop. I pray for I'm serious. I mean it.
Yeah,
mean
no, look, I'm with you with that. Yeah. No, I'm a Scorpio, so we all about that.
That's right. And I just like, well, what people don't understand is that, like, if we really understood the dynamics of what's going on here beyond the contemporary narratives of like America and money and going to work every day, like we understood that, like this, there are no mistakes here in the earth realm. There are no mistakes. And Black people, we are the coded embodiment of the divine, alive. We are eternal beings. We cannot be destroyed. It's not possible for us to be destroyed. It's not possible. So they can't kill us, because if they killed us, they would all cease to exist, because we are the source. So what if we know we are the source? What if we walked the planet like we are the source and started really functioning like that, and things that are harming us, curse them? Like that story in the Bible where it says Jesus spoke to the fig tree and said, "Fig tree, die," because that Christ consciousness dominates the 3D reality through the light of the sun, through the power of the sun. We have the ability to dominate this reality. So you have to recondition your mind to know that nothing has power over you. All you have to do is speak it and know it. But like really believing that is a real thing. Like I can just feel the voice inside of me that's like, I'm scared. So I have to reprogram the trauma and the internal voice that's my great grandmother's voice, because she has some man stalking her who was raping her whenever he wanted to. You know what I mean? Because that's where we come from. So that gets passed down in the system. So, your fears are irrational because you're carrying them from generations. So the reprogramming of yourself gets you to remember who you are, so you can say, that heart over there, stop beating. Within the next 30 days, that heart is going to slow down and come to a halt. And I'm going to burn a candle every day for that ritual to motherfucker.
Yo, and it will happen. This is the
I
type
know.
of season. Yeah, with all these solar flares, like, look, melanated beings, it's your world. Like, if you really know it's your world, you just got to do the sharpening of your sword, and your sword is your mind, ultimately. Mind moves matter, like Mel was saying earlier. You really got to sharpen your sword, and that's really what it's about. And that's what the world is doing. Like, even in Haiti, things are jumping off in Haiti. Like, all these melanated places, people are jumping off. You know what I'm saying? They're not having it. They don't want to have it. And it's evident, as above, so below. So we're seeing it play out in the world. And powers that were out there last stand. Like, all the things that they're doing is last stand shit. Hip hop is getting crazier, more nastier. The world, the programming, the algorithms, right? It's all last stand shit. Mm-hmm. So it's really up to you to have that third eye open. And the only way you can open that third eye is by prying the door open, right?
Yeah.
And you have to do the work of turning the handle. No one else could do it for you, right? Other people have their own perspectives. You need to have your own perspective in this world. Because if everything starts crumbling, and God forbid there's war that hits America and hits the cities, I mean real war, not like talking like Beirut, Iraq type of war that could possibly happen here, you need to have your wits about you, especially men. You need to have your,
Why do you think
I'm not saying it will happen, but I am saying that it
Why
could
do
be
you think it
because
can
the vision I had yesterday of
Yeah.
where I was,
Yeah.
it swept over me that the whole area just wasn't and it just looked like a war-torn area. It
Mhm.
literally, and it just swept. And whenever these things happen to me, like they usually manifest. And it's not going to, I'm not saying it's going to be all of America. I'm not saying it's going to necessarily happen. But if America is going to fall and this system is going to crumble, things are going to have to change.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Society's going to have to change. And I don't know, that vision I had yesterday, it came out of nowhere. It wasn't even anything I was thinking about. It was just something that I was in a sea of people and that shit just swept over me. Like, things aren't going to be the same around here like that. Like, this type of event is not going to take place. These events are not going to take place anymore. That's literally what I heard and saw. And it came and it went. It came and it just went. So, and I'm just looking at what's happening in the world and everything that's going on. And yeah, things are going to have to get shook up. Like our comfort zone is going to have to shake up.
Yes.
Melanated people don't really activate, unfortunately. They activate the most when there's trauma and hardship. They're more united, I feel, when there's trauma, hardship. When Black people knew white people were the enemy, they were the most united. They were building up the most businesses. They were doing the most inventions, right? They were creating their own schools. They were educating themselves. They were top of the class and everything. And once they became integrated and things became comfortable, you have my coochie's pink, my booty hole's brown. And this is where we at right now. Everybody's comfortable. They got their iPhone, you know.
I did not expect you to say that. I was like, what?
It's you're absolutely, I agree. And I feel so what we function best in crisis is what I hear you saying. We take action when crisis is upon us. And it's so interesting because I've been in spaces with a lot of people doing a lot of work, and I've been in spaces where people are like, it's gonna get really peaceful. Like, so how I don't know. It's like the next 3 years, like up to the election, especially, it's like white people are losing their minds. Like we're not losing our minds. They are losing their minds. And so I don't know. I have the sense that the people who are rational and who are going to begin to align together and start to create new systems. I feel like we're going to gently move ourselves into a new way of being together collectively. And the people who are really horribly behaved, we're not going to accept that anymore. We're going to stop accepting it. I feel like we're going to really start rising up and saying no more. And it's not going to be just Black people. It's going to be Black people and other rational people too. Because the system is not just about, they practiced on us how to behave now with everybody else. We were the guinea pigs. And now the guinea pigs are like, we're done. And so everyone's going to follow us.
Yeah. And that's how it's supposed to be. We're supposed to be the spiritual soul of the world. We're supposed to be the leaders spiritually of the world, the codes of conduct and behavior and justice and things like that. That's the way it was. And all the systems are modeled. Even Washington, D.C. is modeled after Kemet. Like, it's all based on our shit. So really, it's just time for us to read. And I just want to say, like you said, Mo, to give new birth. But the baby got to be pushed out, right? It's a violent process for the baby to be pushed out. It's not easy, You're a mom, so and I've seen it, I've witnessed it firsthand, seeing both my daughters come out. It's not an easy process, Damn, they got my arm ripped off by my second daughter's mother when she was pushing that baby. So I felt her pain viscerally, right, physically.
Yeah.
So it's it's going to be a difficult time, but you'll make it through. You know, your God body, you'll make it through. But just have your eyes on it. If you're doing the work, you know, this is what I tell people. If you're doing the work, I was prepared for 2020. You know, Spirit told me what to do. Spirit told me to shift my diet early that year before the whole pandemic came. And it was just something that came to me. I just did it. I was just like, all right, let me do this. And next thing I know, I didn't know that a pandemic was going to happen. I was just changing my diet, you know, changing the way I work out, right? Or I eat and things like that. And then the pandemic came and I was all right. You know what I'm saying? I never caught nothing, no COVID, nothing. I was prepared, you know. But other people that I know that were quote unquote woke, that was smart, that had book knowledge, that could articulate better than I could, they was left and right. They left their teaching, their profession of teaching people, right? I've seen a lot of people that are now just coming back, you know, selling all sorts of spell courses. But it's like, where were you in 2020? Like, I know you guys were there, you know. That's why I rock with y'all, you know. But I like then these are the people that are really were doing the work. When shit hit the fan, their light shined. That's where you want to be. When shit hit the fan, you are able to be. That's when you can say you're God. Everybody could be God when you got money in your bank account, you're taking nice trips, and you know, you got all the jewels and the dashikis and everything's great. You know, everybody could be God then. But when shit hits the fan, that's when you know, are you truly a divine being? Because that'll test you and show you, you know, are you really about this life, or is it just a lot of book knowledge and you want to impress your friends and you want to
$3 in your bank account? Like, okay,
do you still feel abundant?
Overdraft, right? And you got quarters in your change.
Do you know that your abundance is not based on the amount of money in your account?
That'll test you, That'll test you.
You know what I'm
That'll
saying?
test it.
When you get a health diagnosis, do you know that you can? You know what I'm saying? It really
you
is.
can heal yourself,
I get that you can heal yourself. It's a very interesting time, and many of us. The thing about Leo is that many of us knew who we were as children. We knew that we were here for this. You've always known it. You've always known it. And now is the time. And then you got distracted because your soul, like, we weren't ready yet. The earth wasn't ready for what's going on now. So you started doing some other stuff, and you maybe put away that internal child energy that told you what you were here for. Now it's time to go back into the back of the closet of your consciousness and get your inner child out and say, what did you say we were here to do? Because I need you now. Like, you need to be in the driver's seat. And it's just a really powerful time to be alive.
Definitely.
So true. I feel like that you just encapsulated exactly everything that I've come to realize, because the person that I became as an adult was the complete opposite of my inner child. And my inner child was like, who is this? Like, this is not only like, was I unrecognizable to myself, but the things that I was here to do could not have happened as the person that I was sort of pretending to be.
Yeah.
I had to get back to that inner child. I had to get back to that person who was the essence of truly me.
Yes.
And then having the courage to live that person has also been a whole other thing, because everyone has come to know you, rely on you, and you face the world as this kind of person. And when you start showing your inner child, people are like, what happened to you? Or why are you acting like this, or whatever? And you have to be like, no, this is actually me. This is really me. And you're going to see a lot more of me in the coming future, and having the courage to live as that authentic self. That's the essence of, you put it so beautifully with that whole inner child thing. Like, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, they say when your money changes, it's not you that changes, it's people around you, right? So it's the same thing with money is currency, right? So currency is an energy, it's a vibration. Ultimately, that's what money really is. It's energy. It's an exchange of energy. So yeah, when your currency changes, people are going to change around you. Like, expect that. But stand on your square. You know, that's really the most important part of this new moon and Leo season. Like, are you standing on your square with who you are? And I also want to say, Spirit was like, while y'all were talking, like, it's not about being perfect. You know, you're born perfect, you're created perfect in your skin, right? You have all the tools that you need already in your mitochondrial DNA that are waiting to be awakened. Every ancestor since the beginning of time lives within you. So you have all you need. but you're gonna slip, you're gonna fall, you're gonna bump your head, so to speak. This is not a thing where, oh, it's just love and light and everything is magical and beautiful. Now that I have this knowledge and now that I'm doing these rituals, nothing bad happens. No, right? Or I won't slip a day or two or whatever, like things like that. You have to be able to understand that you will fall, but it's not about falling, it's about getting back up, right? It's about having a vision and having a goal and being able to get back up. Don't beat yourself up. Don't guilt yourself, right, for the past or what happened in the past or what you've done in the past. It's about moving forward. So if you fall or if you have fallen or if you're in a fallen state, get your ass back up, man, and see yourself in the state that you want to be repetitiously. And eventually that state that you're thinking about and that you're feeling and that you're resonating with from doing the work will come back to meet you. I promise you. And like you said, it's a process of really detangling a lot of childhood trauma, right? A lot of programming that we have as a child in schools and from family members and from society and from following, right? And releasing the that's the big thing nowadays, social media followings, right? Having followers, followers, right? But who are you following? What type of ideas and thoughts are you following? And are you following your own? It's okay to take things from people and learn from people and incorporate them, right? But they should also come into a space where they're your own and you're just not mimicking what other people are saying. In your day.
Exactly. Yes.
And with that,
I love us. I love us as Black people. I love us as Black people who are beautiful, who are doing spiritual work. You know what I mean? Look how good looking we are.
Glowed up, right? Y'all, I saw y'all like Mo and Mel both got y'all tans. Y'all been in that sun, looking bronzed up.
Yep, you look beautiful too, right? Like it's so good to be who we are. It really is. And I celebrate us all. I celebrate all Black people. I know who we are. I know what we've been through. You know what I mean? And what we've been through makes us so much more prepared for this time now. All of it, like I'm sure to tell myself every day, there is nothing that's a mistake. It's not a mistake that my ancestors were captives. It's not a mistake that my grandmother was a product of a rape from a white man raping my great grandmother. It's not a mistake. Like everything serves. And if I can find the value of it, if I can find the value of every experience, then I can benefit from it. And the value comes through a mindset. That's it. The value is established through a mindset. And we have the ability to transform anything with our mind, to alchemize it. We are very, very, very powerful, magical people. It's just amazing. It's just amazing.
Last piece, real quick. I lived in the Bronx off and on most of my life. And I never knew where the birthplace of hip hop was. Like I've heard Cedric Avenue. I'm like, okay, it's close. Yeah, where I live or whatever. But I'm actually going to it yesterday and seeing that it's literally right off the water. Like it's Cedric Avenue, and then there's like Bronx River right there, right? So, and it being a Leo, it brought me back to like the river, the Montgomery Brawl, being on the river and how water are our flow states, right? Really kind of determine how we show up in the world. And these flow states are a current, right? Going back to currency. There are current. So if we stay in the vibration of the person that we want to be, the things that we want will also go into that current, which is what hip hop manifested to be. Like how many households and, if you look at what the Bronx was when hip hop started, right? The Bronx was like, it looked like a battlefield. It looked like Beirut, like it looked like Iraq, right? But it was started really on the water, on the banks of a Nile, so to speak, here on America. Like it's literally right off. And when I saw that, I was bugged out because I thought it was someplace closer, those who know New York, closer to Fordham, but I was like, nah, this shit is like right down here. It's literally like on the west side of my street, what I live on now, but on the west side, I'm on the east side, and just right down there, and it's right off the water. So just the symbolism of staying in the flow, and you'll activate that lion energy. You'll activate that inner light, and that light will attract what you need and what you want. And you're gonna have to also burn out some things, and it'll change the landscape. It'll change, like that place is now 1520 Cedric. It's now a national landmark, right? And rent controlled. So you can't, it became it was once a war-torn place. Now it's a blessing to live at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now it's a valuable piece of property. So that's the same thing that will happen with you. You will retain your value, and be valuable. So, but especially men, get on that shadow work. Work on that childhood trauma. Work on that first girl that broke your heart. Your mama who wasn't, no disrespect, ladies, but there's some mamas who ain't shit out here. It just is what it is. The mama that ain't shit. The auntie that wasn't shit. The woman who molested you, took your virginity early. Like, work on those things, really see these things for what it is in your meditations, and do those work as men, because we need better men out here. You know what I'm saying? We need better leaders out here. And there's women that are doing the work, but not enough men that are doing the work to match them. This is what I see. With that being said, Queens, tell them where to meet you, what you guys got to offer, your services, that I have used both of them and have been thoroughly satisfied. Tell them where to find them so that they could get the help that you guys have given me to grow into the man that I am today.
Aww.
I'll grow into the man that I am today.
That is so nice. It is so beautiful to be a part of the process of men becoming empowered and beautiful, which is amazing. So thank you. So I'm Monique Ruffin. You can find me at www.healwiththemoonmama.com as my website, and you can find me on all of the platforms at Monique Ruffin. I'm currently right now focusing on Mercury retrograde, really helping people get ready for this Mercury retrograde in Virgo. It's a big, big, big shift for us. And so I'm offering readings on that right now. I also have a community that I'm facilitating called Follow the Sun. You can find that on my Instagram. And this community is designed specifically to help people use astrological wisdom to transmute and heal through what's happening in their birth chart. And then we are a community of people who are growing in our magic together. We are there for the purpose of healing and then transmuting those traumas into magic so that our intuition can increase, and our understanding how our creative powers work, and our, whatever your magic is. My intention is to create a community of people who are together doing magic and supporting each other and themselves and our communities and families, right? To me, it's like modern day church, where we know that we are the Christ and we support one another, so that you can then go out and be like, how can I help somebody else? How can I? And so that's what I'm building in my consciousness and my reality of the world.
I'll show you.
Love it.
Beautifully explained. Shit, I'm about to join, goddammit. Well, you sold it too. so miraculous. All right, go ahead, Mo.
Yes. But before I actually get into my information, Rob, you touched on something that I had gotten a message about a couple of days ago, about men and their sexual trauma, whether their sexual trauma has been via circumcision, whether it's been being molestation, especially by women, older women. Like, a lot of men have this, y'all are just sort of meant to just, you have sex and that's it. But a lot of your virginities were taken by women in very traumatic sort of ways. And this was something that fell onto my spirit a couple of days ago. And I was like, why am I thinking about this? Because I'm not a man, clearly. But I think that was just a reflection of what you have sort of come to understand. And the work that you're doing is so necessary, because like you said, men need it right now. They need it right now more than ever.
And you can't mask it with money. We've been taught in society that protect and provide. So A, I got to be tough. I got to be a thug. I got to be a gangster, right? And B, I got to get a whole bunch of money. So let me work 120 hours a week, so that I could provide, so I could have all this money, or let me scam, let me sell drugs, let me mislead, right? Let me do all these things so that I could just provide. And it's like you're missing the aspect of who are you really? Like, if you're who you really are, if you're doing your work, I promise you, women are going to be the last of your problems. The last of your problems. Spirit will even make you more attractive. It'll give you style ideas and ways to dress, and you'll look and say, oh, let me incorporate this, let me incorporate that. I wasn't always this fly. It's Spirit. God got me. I'm talking shit. That's some Leo shit, right? But
you're right. No,
seriously though, Spirit will allow you to become a better version. I don't care how short, how tall, how skinny, how fat, all these things. If you are doing this work and shed some of this poundage as a man, shed some of this weight on your shoulders, right? Trying to impress, wearing all this designer shit, got to get all this bling bling, all this shit. Nobody cares, bro. A dude like me with a t-shirt and shorts will bag you, your girl, while you're wearing your Gucci outfit when you go to the bathroom. That's the type of person I was.
Okay.
All right.
Talking about Leo season. That confidence is 100.
Yeah, you got on with your Louis on, your Louis suit. You go to the bathroom. I seen your girl eyeing me while you was talking. I talked to her. She gave me the number. You don't even know you came back from the bathroom.
Okay. That sounds like a true story.
Now I don't do that now. This is when I'm my young, young 20s, fresh out type of shit. But I'm just saying, this is now, if you're a real dude and you go to the bathroom and a dude like me pushes up, your girl's gonna be like, nah, my man's smart. He talks about spirituality. He's actually not just talking, but he's doing the work. He treats me well. He's compassionate. He's a leader. He's bold. He knows when to go to war, right? He knows how to manage his money, right? All these different things, world conscious, right? All these different attributes that you develop from becoming a much more well-rounded man will show up, and Spirit will help those things come into play and make you more valuable in the man than just your financial status. Because everybody can have money. Anybody. It's not that hard in this scenario. There's kids right now that's killing it on Twitch streams, just streaming video games. So getting money is not the big deal that it was when we were coming up, me, Mo, and Mel. Like, it was much harder because we didn't have the internet. Now it's much easier. So getting a lot of money is not, that's why women are like, there's women that's celibate 5, 6, 7 years, right? Not having sex at all, because there's not men that have enough work besides their money, and they're emotionally led just like women, especially nowadays. So yeah, the work is necessary. Sorry, Mel. Mel, tell them where you at. My bad.
Oh no, that was a necessary message. Divine Feminine Works on all platforms, YouTube. My website is divinefeminineworks.com, Divine Feminine Works on Instagram. I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic through astrology, numerology, spirituality, all that good stuff. So check me out.
Yeah. Both women, from getting both of my charts read from both of you guys. Man, you guys have done wonders, and there are things I still go back to and reference based on the understandings that you gave me. So thank you, public thank you again. And you guys tap in, men and women, tap into their services and use them as anchors in your spiritual growth and development, because they have the tools that will help you get to where you want to be. And with that being said, thank you guys for spending your time with us on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Take some time today. Venus Cassimi ran, dance, right? Visualize what you want, tap on your heart, enjoy yourself, relax, have some fun, kiss the babies, play with the babies, maybe build a fort or something. I know it's hot, go outside, run in the park, man, run with your kids, man. Don't be an old fart, laugh, joke, don't be so serious. Let the reins off a little bit, Don't be trying to micromanage your children. Just enjoy yourself today. Have fun, man. And I'm gonna see y'all tonight. I owe y'all a video from yesterday, but I was caught up in helping my friend. I didn't get home till like 2:00. So I'm probably gonna give it to y'all tonight. I have to, because if not, then the information is just gonna be old and I wasted all that time collecting these slides for nothing. So I will see y'all tonight, either 9:30 or 10. Most likely gonna be 9:30. To talk about Venus and Leo and some of these current events. And I look forward to seeing y'all. Thank you again, Monique. Thank you again, Mel. Thank you guys for tapping in. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I will see y'all soon. Peace.
Blessings.
Bye.
Yeah. And we out.